Welcome to my channel, shavers and shavettes. I hope you are all well. Got something not completely different today, but a little different. As usual though, we'll start with the gear. Going to be using a rubber set 203 handle that I reknotted with 2-band Badger brush. That was, I think, the second restoration I've ever done quite a long time ago. Still love using that brush. Using CBL's Master Barber line, Poseidon. I think I've had this open in a video before, but I don't remember off the top of my head. And the star of the show, the Fuzzy Catcher, a 3D printed razor made by twhite. Tom, he's on a few of the forums, but we'll mainly be focusing on this razor. Very interesting. So this is modeled after a lather catcher. And again, if you're not familiar with single edge razors, the lather catcher is just an umbrella name for the razors that have kind of that big scoop or shovel looking head. It can catch the lather. Pretty straightforward as far as why we call them that. And the Fuzzy Catcher is not the first attempt that anybody's made to print a 3D printed razor. This is the first one that I've ever used, however. So we'll be taking a look at that. So Tom, he over on the original Safety 3, we love it so much we made 3 of them. If you're not familiar with Toast, the original Safety 3, it is a shave forum, as you would expect. Strictly dedicated, though, to single edge razors. So no speak of double edge and no speak of straight razors. Single edge only. So I'll leave a link down in the description. If you are an existing fan of single edge razors, absolutely, we'd love to have you there. If you're just getting into shaving and you're curious about single edge razors, we'd love to have you over there too. So hop on over. Do keep in mind though, as far as razors are concerned, single edge is the only razor in existence on that site. So a while ago, Tom put out an idea that he had to print this. He put one of his images up there from his printing software, I'm guessing. I'll let you know right now, I know about maybe 5 things of 3D printing, so I'm sure I'm going to get all the terms incorrect, and you can point and laugh and call me a big dummy in the comments if you want. And of course, everybody's looking at that thinking it's pretty cool. What he did was to go ahead and print up a batch. I think it ended at 6 or 7 to send out for people to kind of test to see how he can improve his design. I think his plan eventually is to put up the design file or the print file up on Thingiverse. That may or may not happen. I don't know. Tom, if you're watching, please feel free to leave a comment, let people know what's going on with that. If you would like to know more about that, Tom's on a few of the forums, Toast obviously, also Shaved In and B&B. So keep an eye on there if this is something that might interest you to get a hold of the file. So a few of us got some razors to check out to test the design. And again, this is the first 3D printed razor I've ever used, but I think this is really amazing. The shave is very smooth, very clean. There's no issues with the blade. I was first a little nervous. I don't know, like I said, I don't know enough to understand what to expect from the plastic itself. Tom said this was printed in PLA. Hopefully that means something to you. But in my use of it, it is nice and rigid. The blade is held in place extremely firm. There is not the slightest wiggle in the blade. There is a little concern from the group, and it makes sense. Being a plastic material, are the blade stops going to break? And again, if you're not familiar with single edge, every single edge razor to some extent is going to have little bumps at the very front where the edge hits to hold in place, going essentially forward and backward. It stops the blade. They're the blade stops. This razor is no different. It needs to have blade stops. Being plastic, they're plastic blade stops. So of course the concern is, how long are those blade stops going to last having the stainless steel blade pushing into them? And I think they're going to last a good long while. The way that the head is printed, the blade isn't pressing in between the layers. I think that's the right thing to say. So if you're looking at the razor as if you were about to use it, the layers go left and right, not up and down. So when the blade hits those stops, you don't have a risk of it going in between layers and separating anything. And I've used this razor several times now, really enjoy it. And the first blade that I took out of the razor, I could actually see indentations at the very edge where it had been pressing up against the plastic. Now, due to the nature of how the blade stop is designed, the blade kind of slits into some really small slots. I can't see if the plastic has any damage from the blade, but I think it's a very good sign for the longevity of the razor that the very edge of the blade is taking at least some damage. I can't imagine the plastic has any worse damage than the blade does, but we'll see. I expect it's going to last an awful long time. So, amazing razor, extremely light, as I'm sure you would imagine, being 3D printed out of plastic material. Does take a little bit of getting used to. It's much lighter than any other razor that you have. And when I talk about that, holding the razor in my fingers with a heavier razor, I need to use a little bit of force to move it around. I can feel the mass of the razor. I get that feedback into my fingers. I know exactly where that razor is based on feeling the little movements of my fingers having to push up against the mass of the razor. With a very light razor like this one, or with the USR razor that I had a couple of video backs, it's so light that you don't get that feedback. You don't feel your fingers move, just that little natural movement that's unintentional. Not a big deal though. You get used to that rather quick. As I said earlier, there were a few other people that were able to get one of these razors to give it a shot. Some of them also have YouTube channels. So we've got Dave in Kentucky, Jay Ara, and of course Fuzzy, the namesake of the fuzzy catcher. If you're not familiar with them, I'm going to leave links to their channels and specifically to their videos with the fuzzy catcher if you'd like to check them out. Definitely recommend give them a watch, see if you like them, subscribe to their channels. I think you'll enjoy their content if you enjoy mine. Now, as far as the razor goes, there's not much else to say. It performs just like any other lather catcher type of razor that you would find. This one just happens to be extremely light and made out of plastic. I think that's about all I have to say about the razor itself. We'll move into the soap, the CBL. Again, I've done a first impressions video on CBL before and enjoyed it at that time and continue to enjoy all of the soaps that I've purchased from CBL. I did have a look at the website before making the video just to make sure that they're still up and running, make sure that everything is as expected before I told everyone about it. And yep, it's still there. I certainly recommend checking out CBL, buying some soaps. I will say I enjoyed the Master Barber line quite a bit more than the rest. I noticed today, and I don't know if it was the same previously or not, but I noticed today that they are listed as a hard soap, which I do want to make sure if you're interested in purchasing one of these that you're aware. I would not consider the CBL Master Barber line a hard soap. It is firm. So it's not triple milled, it's not extremely dense, but it's certainly not what we would think of as kind of the normal or the current soft soap, artisan soft soap that so many people like to use. Still a wonderful soap. It performs more like a hard triple milled soap, which is why I really enjoy using it. Not to say that I don't care for the soft soaps. If I were to have to choose though, I like the performance, I like the quality of the lather in a hard soap much better. And the Master Barber line with CBL absolutely nails that. I didn't notice it today, but I think I read in the past that the vintage Williams was kind of the inspiration for the performance that they wanted out of this line of soap, and I think they're right on track with that. Price-wise, I didn't go through the whole site to see what the prices of all the different lines are, but the Master Barber line is still running at $7, which is what I bought it for back several months ago when I first tried it out. And I think everything else is just as affordable, just as reasonable as it was when I bought them. So extreme value for the money from CBL. If you haven't tried them out before, check out the website, see if any of the scents sound interesting to you. Give them a shot. You may or may not like it, of course, with everything in shaving, but I think for the price, for the performance, I don't see anybody getting terribly upset. I'm starting to wrap up the shave here in the video. Excellent shave. Every time I've used this 3D printed razor so far has been a wonderful shave. It's just like any other razor. Takes a few shaves with it to really understand what it's all about, to get the angles right, to get that comfort level with it. But definitely came very quick. I don't know what all goes into designing a 3D printed product. It looks like an awful lot of work to me, so I think this is truly amazing that you've created this razor based on old designs, of course, but created it from scratch, printed it out, gone through a couple of different versions to get to this point. Absolutely wonderful razor. If you get a chance to get the design files from Tom, I recommend to do it and to print it out and try it by yourself. Like I said, I will leave links to all the different videos. I'll leave link to the original safety forum down below if anybody's interested. Please check out the videos. Hop over to the forum if you'd like. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.